Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about Monster Hunter Wilds because I just had a chance to play about 2 hours of the game itself. Now, to be clear, this beta, this demo they released last night on the PS5, it's probably about 25 minutes long, but I purposely decided to explore, to test stuff out, to kind of see the limits of this early taste of the game itself, and I gotta say, as a Monster Hunter fan, I am very curious and impressed, but let's break down what's new, what's different, and what I really enjoyed most. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could please, give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's be clear, Capcom is in a very unique spot. While the entire industry seems to be having a bunch of trouble, Capcom is alone and just continuing to make bigger and better games. Stuff like Devil May Cry, the massive success of Resident Evil, and of course the explosive repopularity of Monster Hunter. Like, this has never been a tiny franchise, but Monster Hunter, a series that I've always enjoyed, continues to get better and better and better. But the biggest difference between Wilds from their previous games is that honestly, it feels like it's just setting you free in a way that it has not before. Typically in Monster Hunter games, you go to camp and you pick up a quest that says, go hunt this particular big beastie. Here's a tactic, here's where his ecosystem is, drop in, take him out, and evacuate, right? Well, there's usually a timer, there's usually an objective, there's usually this kind of pressing need to get in and get out. With Wilds, you really can just go out there and exist in nature. You can explore, you can pick a target while you're already in the field. You can actually just vibe in the ecosystem. And that brings me to the other part of this that is just surreal to see. The lobbies are 100 players, meaning that when you're playing this, you're not going to run into like 100 players consecutively in the field, but it makes it where when you're in town, when you're building party members, when you're actually trying to construct a crew for that next hunt, the options are a lot bigger. And I think this is an interesting shift. It seems like a lot of games have been mildly experimenting with what they call MMO Lite, where instead of being a full-blown MMORPG like World of Warcraft or New World or whatever like that, instead the purpose is to make a game that feels like a living environment, but also encourages you to see your fellow players, to see their gear, to see their emotes, to see their conversations. So you're more inclined to invite them to party up, to pop off an SOS signal. If you're ever having trouble in Monster Hunter, you can essentially fire a flare-up that makes your party joinable. So if you do that, if you're having a lot of trouble against a monster, it's cool to just fire off a flare and have other people from the lobby start popping in to make a 4-man team to hunt down these monsters. Now, I don't know if they've said this, but I kind of hope there's something bigger than a typical 4-man team just because now we have such big lobbies. It would be nice if there were like mega monsters that we actually get a chance, like a souped up version of Rathlos that we could take on with 8 players or 10 players or something. But beyond that, let me talk about the tweaks to gameplay that definitely hit me instantaneously. The first thing is they continue to make the combat smoother and smoother and smoother. If you played a lot of Monster Hunter Worlds, it seems like Worlds, which came out a couple years back, was kind of that gateway drug. A bunch of people who had never played Monster Hunter played that and really thought it was super, super cool. It was kind of the one like entry point. Well, going from Worlds to Rise, they made everything feel faster, smoother, easier to kind of figure out and master. Whereas now, in Wilds, in Monster Hunter Wilds, honestly, every combo feels way more responsive, easier to execute. The combos and kills, it has an extra fluidity. Now, I'm not going to say that Monster Hunter has ever been like a stiff game, but now it definitely feels much more tuned purely for fun and for speed, which I have to say as a big greatsword user is incredibly fun. I feel like it's so nice to just be smashing the heck out of people, instantly try to sheath my sword and dodge a big blow, trying to re-aim. And speaking of aiming, here is a completely new mechanic that is fantastic. Focus mode. I love this. So you can now just hold down L2 and instead of just blindly trying to hit stuff or locking onto the guy and trying to hit him in particular spots, you can now literally directly aim at specific pieces of the monster. Now, if you haven't played Monster Hunter, the way this kind of works is that whenever you're trying to craft a new weapon, you need specific parts, either pieces of armor or nails or claws or busted tails. So when you hit a monster, those parts can break off. Now, a lot of times you could get good at actually hitting what you're trying to hit, but now, since you can specifically just focus mode target a specific limb or its throat or something like that, not only can you actually bust off armor and do a lot more damage hitting weak points that you have created, it makes getting the exact crafting materials that you're in that hunt for a lot more of a skill-based experience instead of a luck-based experience, which I definitely enjoyed. I also gotta say, it is kind of cool to actually see how the monsters are reacting better. It seems like the fluidity of combat and the ability to actually hit specific parts, it feels like I am more connected to the fight now. And that's so nice to actually feel more engaged and more able to strategically battle a monster. Now, the other thing of this is the new mount. So you were able to ride like a wolf-like thing in Monster Hunter Rise. That was cool. Now you've got like this velociraptor style guy that's extra cool. You just tap up on the D-pad and he instantly lets you jump on, but it also has this like autopilot. So if you pick a destination, you're like on your way to a quest, it will run there just automatically. If you touch the control stick at all, it goes to manual mode. You can speed up, you can slow down, but I gotta say, I kind of like the autopilot of it because when you're hunting a beastie, something you'll be doing on mount back while riding a monster is a lot of times you have to worry about the maintenance in a very, very long fight. Some fights in this take 15, 20 minutes long to actually kill a beastie. And so when you're doing that, you're going to have to stop, open up your inventory menu, sharpen your sword, drink some potions, actually insulate yourself in case you're infected and need an antidote or something like that. Being able to do that all on mounted back, you could do that in previous Monster Hunters, but now with the autopilot, it does feel cool to actually be sort of tinkering with my hunter in the middle of a fight in a way that definitely feels it feels more accessible, and I really, really enjoyed that. Now, one thing it does seem like they've removed, maybe it's still in the game, but I can't find it. Maybe I would get it after these early missions. It does seem like the wire bug is gone. Now, personally, I'm fine with that. I was never that emotionally attached. In the last Monster Hunter, we had like a big grapple hook that you could use to actually pull yourself up in the air and grapple hook on top of environments and stuff like that. I think they removed it. We still have a grapple hook, but instead it's used for like pulling items out of a bug's hands to pick up stuff in the environment. If you're riding past something, you can grapple hook it to you so you're not having to stop and dismount. I think this is a good compromise because the wire bug system was cool, like thematically, but I never used it that much. The biggest thing was the wire bugs allowed us to kind of capture monsters. You could tie them up and jump onto them. You could still just jump onto monsters like you could in other Monster Hunter games. Long story short, if you've never played Monster Hunter, I think this game is really, really going to blow your mind. The biggest thing is experiment, practice, kind of suck at it. There is a very unique rhythm to Monster Hunter that you kind of just got to throw yourself into the deep end and practice some combos and watch some videos. There's a lot of very friendly videos on the internet from Monster Hunter fans explaining how to do the longest, heaviest combos, and practicing those in camp. It feels good when you finally get that just perfect combo down and then unleash it on a monster with your friends in your party. Wilds seems wild. I'm super excited to figure more out about it. The one big detriment is something I'm sure you've seen throughout the course of this. Man, does it run bad. This is performance mode. It's not like I'm trying to boost the graphics. This is performance mode, and it is struggling. The game is very early on. I'm sure it'll probably get a lot smoother by the time it comes out, but those frequent frame drops and the very low frame rate cutscenes, kind of strange. But other than that, to me already, this is awesome. But tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you excited for the next Monster Hunter, or does this seem like a big whatever? This is currently available on PlayStation Plus as a free demo. Download it, play it if you got a PS5, and hopefully I see you guys in one of my lobbies soon. Much love, and keep dreaming. Feel free to like and subscribe.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.